and it is 9 p.m. Central Time, and you know what that means. Just like this music going, it's time to get in that flow with Joe. And I have a super awesome special guest tonight who will be joining us. And I'll tell you a little bit more about him when I add him on in just a second. So right now, I'm going to get ready to add him in. If y'all will just hang tight with me for 2 seconds, you are going to love this show about autism and how it is a superpower. So, and if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, and also fast forward to the video about 2 minutes. Give us a little time to get all done and set up here. Oh, okay. No, like that filter make me look. Okay. What's up, everybody? Hi, V, the singer. Hi, Beyond the Pen podcast. Always joining. And let's see here. So tonight, let me turn off my copyright-free music. Hi.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I am doing awesome. So everybody, tonight I have my super awesome friend, Antonio Myers. And let me just tell you a little bit about his name. It's powerful, and there's power in each and every one of our names. So Antonio means highly praiseworthy in Spanish. And his middle name is Ray, which means grace in Scottish. And Myers means mayor in German. Wow. Antonio is a super awesome guy. So let me tell y'all a little bit about why he is one of my favorite guys. So he sees autism as a blessing and a super blessing. Antonio has an awesome, I'm gonna read it, so I'm gonna move the mic a little, move the camera a little bit. So he was a middle school valedictorian, high school valedictorian, a college graduate, world traveler. He's a disability advocate, a social entrepreneur, podcaster, author, public speaker, and mentor. And some other cool things is he works with the National Down Syndrome Society to fight for Down syndrome belonging. He was also appointed by DC Mayor Muriel Bowser to serve on the DC State Rehabilitation Council to fight for disability belonging too. He was also told by educational experts, right? And if y'all done been told something by some educational experts, type a 1 in the chat. He was also told by educational experts that he would not talk or live independently or be successful. And guess what? I got chill bumps, y'all. He surpassed their doubts and then some. Okay. Yes. So, Antonio, while I type, okay, be the singer, yes. You done got told some things about some educational, yes. Jamal the broker, yes. I have. So, go ahead and tell us a little bit just about yourself from the beginning, if you like.
Well, hello again, everyone. I'm Antonio Myers, and as a toddler, I was made to feel shameful not speaking when educational experts evaluated me. They asked me to talk to them. Thank you, V. I didn't talk to them because my parents told me not to talk to strangers. So you're going to make a child feel that something is inadequate about their brain chemistry all because they're complying with their parents. This is an oddity. And I started speaking regularly at 4. In fact, my very first sentence, and I'm going to say it slowly, stop bullying my friend. My worst words were about other people and not myself, so I was born to be an advocate. And ever since I started speaking regularly, they're like, well, we'll just say high functioning autism because they were embarrassed. So that's a synopsis of their diagnosis of me.
So, do you think all parents with this? You know what? First of all, I'm proud of you for surpassing that. You are actually one of the most beautiful people I have ever met, inside and out. And I'm just so thankful to God for giving the idea of Wi-Fi and internet to someone, so we could be connected now, right here to this day, and for you to be sharing your story with these people, with everyone who's on the live right now. So, do you think that with what you just said, all parents, or is it a certain culture, are embarrassed by this diagnosis?
Yes, especially in Black, Indigenous, people of color kind of communities, because of the historical traumatization of slavery, including systemic inequities in our world that contributes to the whole you have to be neurotypical. Neurotypical means, oh, no disability labels. They think that you're normal. But I don't want to be normal in the sense of how they define normal means if you experience inner claustrophobia, inner suffocation, um, you can't be the embodiment of your own uniqueness. You always have to be carbon copy to someone else. So when I look at autism, it allows me to focus on you as a person, not obsessing over our differences or fixating over, well, we don't have your life is like this, my life is like that. We don't get caught, a lot of us autistic people don't get caught up in that. We're more of, what kind of heart do you have? And how can we see you as the royalty that you are, because we sense it within ourselves? So within our community, and even in the world of religion, and I'm being sensitive when I say this, there's this history of being accused of demonic possession if you have anything that they consider unholy against you.
Wow.
Yeah, they think you need to have an exorcism performance to extract the demons out, and they'll pray over that spirit of autism. They'll treat it like a curse, or if you're a witch or something. So that thinking is
Wow.
still prevalent, especially if you go to African nations. Even Middle Eastern countries, they still do these things the most. It's not as prevalent in America, but some Americans do feel that way because Big Mama or Big Papa may have raised them to think, if you learn slowly, whatever that means, and they think you're like problematic. So yes, I know it's a long answer, but it's the whole truth.
No, that was a great answer. And you actually are lighting the comments up. I'd like to touch base on some of those. So, um, a lot of people resonated with you with the educational experts.
Thank you.
18 says amazing. V the singer says so proud of my friend. I'm proud of her too. I'm proud of him too, girl.
Thank y'all.
Yes, and let's see. Jeannie, you be safe. She's driving, but she's listening in. Thank you for your time, to all of you guys, because time is not promised to any of us. And so I really
Thank you.
appreciate your time. We appreciate your time for tuning in. So Beyond the Pen podcast says, I have two boys on the spectrum and am proud of them. Q Bama 709 says, one of the best lectures I have heard in years. Thank you for having a genius guest. He's a genius. Yes, Lord.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
He also said you have dropped more gems than 90% of the foolishness out here. That's so true. So true.
I roll with that. Yes.
And you know, it hit my heart and hit my soul when you were talking about, having the exorcism performed on people on the spectrum, for this superpower, so Beyond the Podcast said that was sad, and Q Obama said a form of witchcraft. And then he also came back and said, you're smarter than a lot of degreed folks. And Be the Singer said, he is amazing, beautiful person, and I am grateful to know Antonio beyond the pen. They keep coming, Antonio. They teach me many things, especially patience daily. Yes. So, ever had that happen? Have you ever had to experience that?
A couple of times, twice, from some Pentecostal older folks who were happen to be black, twice.
How did that make you feel?
I quickly ended it. I just said, okay, man, thank you, bye. And I just walked away.
What?
I didn't even let them finish. I was so triggered, I just walked away, never encountered them again.
Were you an adult at this point, or your teenage years, or?
Uh, 8, 9.
And you still had the courage to walk away. I love
Yeah,
I love that. So you've had just this amazing gift coming out at a young age, since age 4. Don't bully. Stop bullying my friend. And
yes,
I had a scripture for this, and it's out of John 9:1-3. And if anybody's on here not religious, I apologize, but I do God in everything that I do. Okay. But so in the scripture, it says, I found it to be interesting. Okay, so, and this is in the NIV version, and it's talking about Jesus, right? And it says, as he went along, he saw a blind man from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Neither this man, Jesus replies, neither this man nor his parents sinned, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. And those works of God are already, I see, being displayed in you. Like, you have already done so much from a very young age, just being an advocate. And you are definitely encouraging parents, and you're encouraging other young boys and girls as well, who might think that they're the way that they think differently, is sinful, is so different that they don't want to be here anymore. So I'm grateful that you are sharing your story and making an impact on those individuals and people with disabilities as well, and Down syndrome. So I greatly appreciate you for doing the work of God, that is in you.
and I also in the book talk about a disturbing phenomenon where if you have labels, especially of the disability type or classification, there's a higher rate, RATE, of being abused. And in my book, I talk about I was all around abuse by simply being autistic. And I think it's something that caretakers, parents have to be mindful of. You do have what is called wolves in sheep's clothing. You do have those vipers out there who prey
Mm-hmm.
on kids, especially kids they think are defenseless. Um, oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Joe. But yes, and the way I recovered was I used mental health treatment. Thank you, V. I mean the comments. I recovered through mental health treatment. I sought psychiatric assistance. I was in group counseling. I did life coaching. I did therapy. talk therapy. And this book was my very first writing therapy and grief counseling I ever done, because I had to go back to those experiences with the healed soul that I have now. And I
Mhm.
had to take those insights that I revisited from those experiences. And the way I write, you could tell, wow, this is a daily healing kind of guy. So,
Absolutely. And I'm grateful that you touched on that because that's how I think actually how we met on
hmm
Clubhouse. I started following you,
right.
and then I of course I started following your Instagram because that's how I like to connect with people from Clubhouse. Because if I do it on Clubhouse, I always forget there's so many people there. But if I go to your Instagram, I can connect with you personally. And
Yes,
um come to find out, I joined your live one night and
you
I found
did.
that we had a very similar story.
Yes.
And guys, this is just a trigger warning. So, if any of you have, been sexually abused or anything of that nature, I apologize now because this is probably the subject we're going to dive into a little bit. So, and we won't spend too much time on it, but there's some awesome, like some statistics that really need to be said that you shared with me that night. So when you were saying you experienced so much abuse, and actually, before we go into that, everybody, I want you to share this live with 3 people who you know need to be watching this live. I want you to click this little arrow here, and I want you to follow Antonio. When I tell you he is a blessing every day, just from his content, you would absolutely love it. Highly encouraging. And go and purchase his book, My Neurodiversity Freedom Narrative, on Amazon. He just released it on the 29th of June. Let's help him become an Amazon bestseller tonight. Purchase, 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 purchase. It's an amazing story. And it's just a powerful book. And let's just purchase it. So when you talk about healing, yes. I mean, so many people think healing. Oh, yes, Beyond the Pen podcast. He wants you on his podcast. Definitely
Word
DM.
up.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes. That's a done deal. So you talk about people think, when you say healing, I've healed from this, I've healed from this. No, even though you've healed, you've forgiven, it's still daily maintenance on that healing. I mean, it's a continuous process. Like, because, like I said before, you're going to get triggered here if you've ever experienced this, so sometimes you get triggered and you still have to go back and practice those coping mechanisms that started to that you got started on with the healing journey.
hmm
So yeah, do you want to dive in a little bit on that? I think.
Well,
Oh,
yes, I can tell the therapeutic techniques I've learned. Meditation. People do it differently. Some people do it with their eyes open. Some people do it with their eyes closed. Some people just lay there, and if they go to sleep, they go to sleep. But meditation could be, for some people, they play the music, whether it's in their ear or on their laptop or computer. They'll play meditation music. Like, you can have meditation apps. If you go to the App Store, some are free and some are you have to pay. So that's one way. Another way for me is going for a walk. Walking has always been deep. I think very deeply when I walk, when I'm around nature, and when I'm around vibrations as well as hearing it and sensing it with my own eyes and my spirit. So nature is cathartic for me. Of course, I'm a writer, being an author, daily releasing feelings. It keeps my mood stabilized, and it keeps my outlook on life wholesome. Another way is the gym. when you work out, when you take care of yourself, well, you got to eat right and drink correctly to complement the working out, keep your muscles nurtured. But when you work out, you are also keeping like a robust body image.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Like that
it,
verbiage, robust, baby.
and it does help with your mental health. Like, I'm taking care of me, so your self esteem is being upgraded upward. So those are some of the many things I do. Plus, positive people help. Yes, no negative people.
Right. Yeah, that does help. Like having your inner circle, like and keeping an eye on your inner circle, because that negative energy is draining and it can take you like 3 steps backwards.
Yes,
If you're
regression.
up the mountain, you get around negative people, they'll slide you right back down to the base of the mountain.
Yes.
Oh, I love your laugh. I love your laugh. Okay, so one of the traumas that you had, you were sexually abused at what age?
5.
And it continued through
Nearly 8. So
nearly,
about 2 years.
wow. Wow. So you gave me a statistic that night when we discussed this on live, when we shared our stories together. Could you share that statistic with the viewers today
In
about
terms of like,
when you said neurodiverse children are more likely to be sexually abused because they're neurodiverse and the abuser will just do it just because they feel like you won't.
yes. Yeah, I don't remember the exact numeral or numbers, enumeration, but yeah, I learned that for the first time. How I came to learn it, I was at a paid training program to learn how to be a direct support professional. And as a direct support professional, some of the things you learn, you may have to leave the room. I did. It was so graphic. I was like, okay, mental timeout, because I felt like, could I end up severely depressed after all this?
Yes.
So I had to take it in dosages and short bursts. And they told me, well, yeah, you really do have to protect your clients, because when you're hanging out with them, vultures will try to either use innuendo or just directly state what they're going to do. And that's why when I was going to be a direct support professional, we had to be in groups.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that we were taught, hey, you're going to learn how to care for the daily needs of people with disabilities. So if you have an incident where someone tries to attack you and you're with your client, another direct support professional can be the one on the phone calling the police. So those are some of the things that happen, like just being in institutions, and people lie around naked and destitute, or if you're in the middle, I think it was like centuries ago, you would be the performance of like the royal court, where you were presented in front of like the prince or the king and the queen, the royal family, and their circle of people, and they would clown you, make fun of you. There was a ship of fools where they would just put you in cages if you're disabled and just ship you off. The jesters, yes, the royal jesters.
Wow. Wow. That's actually not hard to believe. Um, it was ruthless. in those times. And it still is ruthless. We just don't hear about it or see it. Especially you got bankroll, plenty of money. Yeah, it gets pretty nasty out there. Well, we all seen the Jeffrey Epstein case, so wow. And so going through those experiences, what made you want to start sharing your story about it? And hold on, one more thing. Because you have done a lot after that. You went through that from age 5 to 8, and you were still like accomplishing and achieving life
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
all after that.
And many were put in asylums because family members didn't want to take care of them. Yeah, asylums are traumatic. Ooh.
Well, that is true. And yeah, those stories are traumatic from those asylums and the documentaries and everything. Ooh, that is true. Um, so what did I say? I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought thinking about the asylums, and those vivid images came to my head with the documentaries and everything. Those babies were treated.
Yeah. You're asking me how my strengths 5 to 8 dealing with all the.
You went through that whole trauma. You got your innocence completely taken away from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were still, I'm sorry, I get a little choked up because just think about the babies. Think about you as a baby, and all the other babies, who experienced this as a child. My story started, I got assaulted when I was 19, so I was already, kind of adult age. But when you're a child, it's how did you continue on just accomplishing? How did you just continue on after all what had happened between the ages of 5 and 8?
I had the spirit of my grandma Clara and the wisdom she would give me. She never knew any of the tortures I speak to you and the audience and within the book about. I had her and I had a supportive school environment. And it's just my nature. Some things you don't have to be taught. Thank you for smiling. They're just in you. You
Right.
I didn't know I was choosing my nature at the time. I just made choices, and I'm before you right now as a result.
You chose a life of optimism. I love
Yes.
it. Guys. Isn't Antonio just super brave for coming out, speaking his story? If you agree, put a heart in the chat. Show us some love in the chat. Put a heart in the chat for Mr. Antonio Myers. Like, I'm because sharing abuse is hard. It's hard, but
Yes.
it's not for us. It's for somebody else. Our experiences aren't meant for us. We grow stronger in those experiences. Unfortunately, some of us have to grow stronger in those experiences earlier on than
Thank
others.
you, Fee and Beyond the Pen. Thank y'all.
Yeah. So, what made you want to start sharing your story about this?
Thank you, Marvina. Um, whew, to be honest, and this is gonna be heartbreaking. It is for me. I tried my best not to share this story. I come from an old school black family where the whole right, and this society that mocks males for being victimized by anything. That was number two. Three, shame. I was like, I had trust issues for years. I'm like, I didn't think my story would bless anyone. I'm glad that's not been proven the case, but at the time, it took me until nearly 29 and 28 now to put this story out. What helped me to do it was abuse survivors, autism spectrum community members, whether they're caretakers or on the spectrum themselves, people like yourself, who be like, you have something global. you're a global icon because of the choices and the outlooks and the forward motioning that you do. It would be a shame if we were all robbed of your wonderfulness. You have liberation tools within your story that we need. So I had to say to myself, okay, do I risk the approval of my family to be a blessing? I said yes. Do I risk the approval of just naysayers for this cause? And I had to say yes. So I did this story. I self-published this book. I'm on, I put all the I budgeted well to put this together.
Well,
I
the cover is beautiful. You did a marvelous job. I just love the cover and I love the picture that you use. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. I use Fiverr for everything. Fiverr's really good. And
Yeah.
Amazon has a thank you. Amazon has a KDP account so you can self-publish books for free. And that's what I did. So and one more thing, I decided, well, I have a chosen family. They're out there. If I put this book out there, slowly but surely they'll come. So I had to replace the biologicals with people that I don't call total strangers anymore. So that's my bravery, one of my bravery stories.
That is so awesome. You are brave. And one thing for sure, you are resourceful. You got out there, you was like, baby, I'm gonna get this book out here. I'm gonna do what I got to do, and I'm gonna do it my way. I love it. I love it. I love it. If y'all agree with me, put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat for Antonio's resourcefulness, bravery, and awesomeness right now. Man, some like top brilliant geniuses in the world are neurodivergent. Like Elon Musk was one of them. He's what did he have? Asperger's. Asperger's, yes.
I have Asperger's.
Wow. Yes. And you're already a complete genius.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look, Miss Marvina said one for sure. Beyond the pen, put one.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Beyond the Pen also said everyone's story is a unique and should always be shared. If not, we'll never learn. I love
Mm,
that. I love
truth.
that. And so if anybody, he said my 15-year-old does as well. Wow.
Wow. I'm touched.
Yeah. If anybody has any questions for Antonio or comments for Antonio, hit the request button. Come up and join us. Don't be afraid. Um, also, like, just tell us a little bit about the book. Just give
Oh,
us a snippet. Don't give us everything. Just give us a snippet of the book to get everybody hungry to go over to Amazon and purchase.
I was the seventh grade secretary of my middle school, eighth grade president of my middle school. I could type 50 words per minute in middle school. And yeah, I typed all the time. Hey, hey,
Hi.
What's up,
hi.
Antonio? This is Mac Antonio.
Hi, Matt. How
Hello.
you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm just fascinating.
That's true. You are definitely fascinating. That's
Thank
very
you.
much true. Which is great because that's what we need. We need people that are so willing to tell their story. And like I said, I'm not going to try to take anything away from her show, but I definitely want you to be on my podcast as well because I have a podcast called Beyond the Pen, aka this,
Hmm.
where we tell people's stories for those who have actually are unknown or newly published authors. And
Mm.
we want you to tell not only people about yourself and your book, but we want to know what the story is behind the story. We want to know everything we can so we can get you more readers.
Ah, I see. I'm with that.
So Me and you'll talk offline, but my question for you is, because of the fact that I have two children on the spectrum. One is 6 years old. He has the
Mm,
mentality of a 4-year-old because he's delayed
yeah.
development. But my 15-year-old is on the spectrum as well, and he's on Asperger's when he was diagnosed originally. So my question to you is, when you got out of high school, how much easier was it for you, or harder was it for you to be on your own?
Ooh, I'm gonna start with harder. It was harder. I was in Florida, so there was some racism issues, and I had to take the high road as my way of appropriately compensating for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was easier because I used college to grow. I
Okay.
was in every life skills group in terms of especially boundaries. It could be communication, it could be people skills, it could be conflict resolution. I educated myself so much in college. I didn't just rely on the academics. I just read books for fun, learning how to be an adult. And I was even in college therapy for 2, 3 times a week to just resolve and deal with life and its stuff. So it was harder, but it was easier more than harder because of my mentality the word used.
Right. Because again, my son is 15. He's a sophomore in high school next year, or this in 2 weeks. Oh Lord, 2 weeks. Getting old. I'm getting old. But I'm really trying to train him as much as I can on just the basics. But again, ADHD doesn't help out on that either. And it's really hard to, as a father, to know that you've done the best you can, but you're still not seeing anything for him, and it really does frighten me, because
Mm,
I don't want him to have to struggle so much,
right.
and I don't want to have to take care of him for the rest of my life.
That's real.
But it is the thing. I want him to learn his independence, but again, if it's not like he's wanting to learn, it's like he's struggling to learn. And I need to know if you have uh, any tips on how to help him to learn these things, these basic things.
Learning styles can play a role. If you have a child who is visual, I would say the chalkboard is an example I could think of right on it, and the child go, "Oh, I get it." Some
Mm-hmm.
kids, you just talk like say words to them, and their brain just gets it. When you have kinesthetic, it could be they have to feel 4 apples. You're trying to teach them 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, two in one hand, two in the other hand, and that's how they can sense. Like they have to feel to learn. It's when I gotta
Right.
touch it. I gotta have that texture to go. Okay, so it could be like grocery shopping. Hey, this is the aisle, and if you hear the um, grocery team staffer say aisle number this, and he say, hey, here are the products. As an adult, you have to go to the grocery store, and you have to hear the steak section if you eat meat, or if you're a vegetarian, here are the vegetables. If you're into fruit, here are the fruit section. So that's a first basic step. Then it gets more complex, but spoonfuls.
Yeah, he's pretty bland. He likes just apples, Gatorade, and pasta with salt on it, and that's it. That's pretty much his diet.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, beyond the spectrum, there are some dietary restrictions. I've been friends with people. Oh, thank you, Joseph. I've been friends with people who they had to not eat certain things because of their sensory process, how their
Yeah.
brain processed the food and the taste.
It's funny because both of my boys are completely different when it comes to food. Like,
Mm,
obviously, chicken nuggets and pizza is always going to be a thing for them, always.
right,
But it's the idea that, like, my oldest, bland, salt. That's it. My
right,
young, spicy. He loves chili soup. He loves tomato soup. Um, he has certain things he won't touch, but majority of the time, if it's not spicy, he's not going to touch it.
Mm.
So it's
mm,
always interesting to see the difference in the way that children on the spectrum are, even
right.
adults are. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I'm saying this so much, specifically for the audience too, is that you can't really. This is the reason why I'm asking this, because you can't really teach a child on the spectrum the same way as another child. They're
Yeah,
completely different in every way.
diversity.
Yeah, there's so many things, and that's why I really wanted to get your insight on that as well.
Yeah, I've been more of a mentor now, and I
Mhm.
think I made myself that with this book because I appreciate parents seeking my advice because
Mhm.
yeah, every child is thank you, thank you. Because every child is different, and that's good. Because a lot of times we are different. People go like tribal, like I can't with you. I'm like, no, different means that I get to grow. That's how I should look at difference. I get to develop. I get to be enculturated. Because a lot of people want to stay confined and ignorant. Like, you have to expand your heart. You
Yeah,
can't just live life and share life with yourself. You have to share it with other communities.
absolutely. Yeah, and I think this is something that people need to hear because, especially for adults who are very young,
Mhm.
and because I can tell, I remember when we were first getting our oldest Jackson diagnosed, he was
Mm.
3 years old,
Mm.
and I
Wow.
the problem. I can't say the problem. The difficulty was that I wasn't always there because I was deployed most of the time that he was growing up.
Wow.
Mm.
So it was a lot harder on my wife to do it herself,
Mm.
which is really hard, especially if you don't know what's going on. And unfortunately, and this is something I'm not proud of, but I need to tell people because of the fact I don't want other parents to actually have to do this. Don't listen to anybody else unless they have actually gone through it or they have actually um, are specialists in it. You cannot ask them for advice because they're going to try to tell you the exact same thing that we went through as kids. Is you just treat them like they're normal kids. You discipline them the same way, and that doesn't work. I could spank my son's butt so many times until it is completely red, and he still won't learn. He'll
Mm.
still try to do the same thing.
Mm.
You can't take things away from them without them going absolutely berserk. You
Mhm.
can't change certain things on them so quickly until because they will just lose it. And that's what I did. That's all the things that I did when he was younger, when before we got him diagnosed. And through the years, it made it a lot harder for me and him to really connect. Because the other fact is that even though I was deployed, my wife would tell him, "Your daddy is coming back. He is a soldier now, and he's going to war. He will come back, and we'll be a family again." But for so many times, he did not really really understand that. And it
Mm.
wasn't until maybe a couple of months ago we were going at it because again, he's like me. We
Wow.
both have tempers. We're both hard headed. Um, he actually said, "The reason why I respect mom more than you is because she didn't abandon us."
Woo!
That hurt so hard. It did. But we had to finally, it's like, no, I was deployed. I was a soldier. I did this. This is what it was. And this is what I mean. It's like, to me, you cannot make these really big decisions like that and it not impact the child as much. And again, like you went through hell and high water and are on the other end. And I think that's something that people need to understand, is that being on the spectrum is a gift.
Yes.
Because of the fact that you guys see things differently from us. I mean, right now, my son, my 15-year-old, is literally teaching himself how to be a game designer, game developer. He's literally doing that by slowly teaching himself, using a video game, animation, how the movements are with the programming, and he's creating his own music as well digitally. So at 15, if you tried to get me to that, no, it ain't happening. I had a hard enough time with algebra. Try to get me into programming? No. I'm still trying to figure out where that came from genetically. But my other son, who is 6, he is a mimic. He is absolutely a mimic. He can watch a cartoon so many times and know exactly who's saying what, how they're saying it, and what they're saying. And he'll act it out too. So
Wow.
To me, that is insane, because that's why if you have a normal neurological brain, it's not going to work that way. Not a lot.
Right.
Not really. It takes a lot of hard work to get to that. So this is another reason why I'm always telling people, yeah, I know exactly, Joseph. I'm 42 and I can't do that. I'm lucky enough to actually be able to create characters enough as a voice actor. So trust me, I know. But this is why I'm always telling people, like, they are superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have capes unless they really feel like putting them on. That's why I made that comment. But they absolutely are. And that's why another woman that I really think that you should really look at, I got to remember her name. I'll DM her name to you. But she actually wrote a book specifically for children with special needs, and she created them into superheroes. And the one for the spectrum his name was Adam S. Spectrum.
Thank you, Martina.
Autism. And he's a detective because of your guys's, you guys can pick up the littlest details and go run with them.
Yes.
But that's what I mean. It's like, by the way, she's dyslexic too. And she wrote the book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have anything stopping you anymore. So, anyways, I was going to stop talking. I just wanted to say all that thing. Thank you again, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. It's mutual.
Yes, and Mac, listen, no, I love sharing my guests, right? Because it's, the world needs to hear about him. Like, anything. We can share guests all day long. That's what, we're family now. Thank you for your service. Everybody type that in the chat. Give Max some love. Thank you for your service. I commend you for being strong as a parent, you and your wife. Us as parents, we take a lot of things for granted.
Yeah.
Like, my children aren't on the spectrum, but when my husband is gone, like, I'm like, oh man, like, I'm gonna be here all week. Like, so I can imagine.
Why do you think I have no hair up here but here? It's just easier to just deal with this right here.
So guys, for your wife, and God bless her. God bless you for,
Yeah.
just giving us all as parents patience to be aware of our children and to
Uh-huh.
serve them, to help them to develop into the geniuses that they are. I mean, gosh, your boys sound like they are just incredible, like geniuses. My goodness.
They're amazing, but they definitely love to try to teach me patience every day the hard way.
I even have
Uh,
to pray for
as,
patience every day, but it does keep getting better, right?
I hope so. I hope so. Because if not, I'm going to be really gray before I'm 50. I'm going to have nothing left. Help me. No.
And actually, so everybody, please make sure y'all follow both of these gentlemen. Click that little arrow up above. If you're watching a replay, I'll put their names in the description so you can click the follow button. And Mac, Beyond the Pen, there are actually several more authors here in the comments. Joseph P.
Yes,
Rubin is an author. Marvina Sims. They both have super powerful stories. So, and I just,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes, y'all can go to our website, beyondthepenpodcast.com. We are heard on 27 different platforms worldwide. We've got people in Russia and the Philippines, Malaysia. We're 256 out of I think it's 1,000 in the UK. And we're literally everywhere. We're even in Spanish-speaking cultures. So we've only been up for 4 months, but we've been taking the last 2 months off because I need some life. I need a life. I need to breathe. I need to sleep. Well, we were doing it twice a week for 3 months straight. So we've got 34 episodes up right now. Denise is one of those that's in the audience right now too. She is one of our guests. I think she's episode 5. Her story is really great too. But yeah, go there, subscribe, tell people about our show, subscribe to it so we can get up the ranks, because when this gentleman gets on there, I want to make sure that our community is so large that he has so many more people to touch and to tell his story about. And that's what we always want to do. It's never about me or my co-host Marcella, which, by the way, she has children on the spectrum too as well.
Wow.
So you would definitely be grateful on ours. But yeah, we are always trying to build up our community. We're trying to give these unknown and newly published authors a chance to become the next literary icon in their subject field. And this is the one thing is many of the authors that we've had on before still follow us and still want to interact with our new guests. And that's what we love to do. We love to create this network of authors that support one another.
Wow.
So yes, please subscribe to us. Get up higher in the ranks on Apple and get those reviews in, because once we get up there so much, that means more people will hear you guys.
So right now, go subscribe to Beyond the Pen podcast. Leave a 5-star review. Don't just leave the 5 stars. Actually, write a review so we can
Listen to one too. Listen to it. We've got people on there like Denise, who's got a great story. We've got children's books authors. We got fiction authors. We got a lot of nonfiction authors that will bring you so much joy and happiness. And we love to tell them, you are the superstar of the show. We are just merely the voice of our audience.
Wow.
And definitely do that, please, because again, I want to have all of you guys on there much. We are actually going to be starting our 2nd season. The next one will come up on the 25th, I believe. The Tuesday. Yeah, not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday.
Oh, awesome.
So we're going to have a lot of people on there, and it's going to be great. Right now, I am getting booked closer to, I think right now we're working on December. But if you give me your book in quickly, I'll put you in earlier. So we'll talk about that later. Anyways, sorry.
No, you're fine, Mac. I love this. So Joseph, he's an underdogs coach, and he actually has a nonfiction book, basically a memoir about his life. Miss Marvina, she has 5 published books, which is Marvina Sims here. She
Wow.
there, and she has a memoir as well. But her books are just hilarious. She has one out right now called Duplex Occurrence. It's awesome. It's a super funny book. So yes, y'all, we are coming to an end. This is an hour-long show. Y'all have brought me so much joy and happiness. Hey, you're
Well, we're happy we did something today. But seriously, darling, it was a wonderful show. Wonderful. Sorry, the voices came out in my
You're so
back.
silly. Before I forget, everybody, right now we have 60 people on this live. If you're watching a replay, right? So go ahead. We're gonna pose for 3 seconds. Take a screenshot for us. Tag us in a story about this Flow with Joe tonight, and then just type something that you got out of it, like something valuable, just to draw in more people so I can build my community as well. I greatly appreciate that. So y'all ready? Y'all ready to pose? Be
Of
cute,
course.
all handsome. All right, 1, 2.
Stand for the mattress.
Was that your
I love it. Right when it's
Oh,
yeah, I know. I'm going. I gotta go. Super Dad to the rescue.
beautiful job? Stay strong, hang in there, and keep doing what's best for children, because you and your wife are doing an awesome job. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
You guys have a great night tonight.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. Let me tell you how y'all can stay connected with Mr. Antonio Myers. Oh my gosh, y'all. Antonio, you don't know how much joy you have brought me. I'm like, it shows me to keep going. You know what I mean? When I have superstar genius guests like you, it gives motivation to keep going. People who are in the virtual studio audience down there just blowing up the comments, like, I greatly appreciate your time. I know Antonio appreciates your time, and then just engaging with us throughout the show, that helps us out a lot to keep talking, to know what we're talking about, you're vibing with, you're maybe getting some value from it, and we greatly appreciate it. So on Clubhouse, if you're on Clubhouse, Antonio hosts a daily room in the Neurodiversity Club. Neurodiversity Club. So search Neurodiversity Club, join the club, and attend all of his rooms at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 2:30 p.m. No, sorry. He hosts daily rooms in the Neurodiversity Club at 1:30 p.m. Central Time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can also do a quick search on Amazon for Antonio Myers. If you forget the name of the book, just type in Antonio Myers. Y'all remember what Antonio means. Antonio means highly praiseworthy in Spanish. Ray means grace in Scottish. And Myers means mayor in German. So you ain't gonna forget that, okay? There was power in our names. And through Antonio's work, from learning the power in his name, I encourage all of you to do some research on your name and love your name and know that your name was given to you with meaning and love. So find out what your name means. And so, yes, search for his book, purchase his book, guys. Let's make him a bestseller. He self-published this book all on his own, wrote this book. Show some brother some love. We need to support our authors. Antonio, it has been a pleasure. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining tonight.
And don't be a stranger, Joe.
Oh,
Thank you too.
I love me some Antonio, and Joseph does too. He said, "Keep smiling, Antonio. Don't he got a beautiful smile?"
Yeah.
And Joseph said he's going to get your book.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. So, Antonio, keep doing the work that God is instilling in your spirit. Keep your spirits up. I love that you had the bravery to write your story and publish the book. Kudos
Yeah.
to you for that. And so keep your self-esteem up, like you said, with that getting that robust body at the same time, baby.
Thank you, B and Marvina.
We go. Don't forget to share that screenshot in your stories. Type a gem that you got out of this live and make sure you tag us in it so we can reshare just to help bring more people to Flow with Joe. And it also shows more exposure for Mr. Antonio. All right, now, baby, that wraps up tonight's Flow with Joe. I'll talk to y'all later now. Bye bye now.
Bye.